everyone. Thanks again for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So I'm trying to get the leveler to 11. So today we're going to be talking about 1,000 Steps Into Night by Chee. This is a Japanese-inspired fantasy, and I have to say I love it. I love Chee's writing style ever since her trilogy, the Reader trilogy, but it was renamed Stephen King Gold trilogy. Loved it. Super meta. Like, blew my mind when I read it. Once I read that series, that's just like I became a huge fan of her writing. So I was really excited to get an arc of 1,000 Steps Into Night from the publisher. It follows Miyoko. She is, well, she's loud. That's how they describe her. Literally, right from the get-go, from the beginning. She's like, she's a loud girl. And she doesn't really fit within her society, her culture standards of what it means to be a woman. You know, she's not graceful. She's loud. Basically, in this world that she lives in, women are to be seen and not heard, right? I think we can understand that in today's world, that concept is kind of still being argued, that women should be seen and not heard. I definitely know some people who've actually said to my husband to control what I say. I'm not kidding you. So, you know, that mentality still exists. And I like that Chee is using her storytelling to kind of fight those ideals. It's just like, no, women should be treated as equals in life. You know, we are very much human beings that deserve respect. As much as any man does. And the women in this society, in this world she's built, you know, they need to get married, they need to be wives, they're not allowed to go anywhere unchaperoned. And Miyoko is just kind of like, I'm loud, I'm klutzy, I'm me. And she's always felt kind of out of place in her society. She's always kind of wished she were more graceful. She's always wished she were not so loud. She wishes she was what society wants her to be, right? And it's not until she goes on this journey, you know, she's cursed and she's slowly turning into a demon, and she has to go on this journey so that she can stop herself from turning into a demon. It's not until she goes on this journey that she really learns to love herself, love her humanity, love all those little quirks that make her herself, you know, because she is the hero. She is the hero in this story, and she is formidable, and she is amazing. And I really do enjoy her storytelling, you know. I love her voice, Miyoko's voice in the story. And I like how she is going on this journey and learning she has freedom. I mean, she keeps going on this journey and she's just like, oh yeah, things will, once I'm no longer cursed, things will go back to normal. And she's like, I don't really want things to go back to normal. That's kind of her mentality, you know? She's discovering her freedom. She's discovering her voice. She's discovering how strong she is as a character. And while she's going on this journey, she's connecting to other women in the story who also feel limited and restricted by what their world says they should be. the previous regime, we discover, was very open-minded, but this new regime that has taken over, very narrow-minded. They are very oriented in gender, what gender defines you in. And I like that there's this line where Chee writes, sometimes parents think they've given birth to a daughter or son and find that they were wrong, that their son is actually their daughter and their daughter is their son. I like that she's addressing, and I think she also points out, I'm not sure about this one. I feel like there was a mention of non-binary identification in the story, but I can't put my finger on it. But I do like the transgender aspect of it. I like how, again, this is a discussion going on right now. She is bringing it into her medium. And I like that representation is there. 100%. I like it. She's like, they're wrong. And there's a wonderful scene where she does meet a transgender, and it's a beautiful scene when this woman, everyone thought she was a boy, and she's always felt like she was a girl. And what happens is, she prays to the gods, and I think it's the moon goddess who shows her reflection as one of a woman. So she becomes a priestess because she's not accepted in her town, so she has to run away or else be ostracized or hurt. And she becomes a priestess that welcomes her with open arms. It's like a god told her, no, you're right. Don't worry. It's a beautiful scene. I found it to be really beautiful, personally. You don't have to agree with me, that's okay. But personally, I thought it was a beautiful scene in the narrative. Now, her storytelling is amazing. Lots of jaw-dropping moments. I love that it does focus on the female perspective and their place in society and challenges that as well. What I also love are the character dynamics. I mean, they're so well done. I mean, the Demon Prince, he's clearly the villain, right? Hands down, he is the villain here. But what's really good is, even though he's a villain, you are drawn to him. At the same way Miyoko is drawn to him. There is this inherent attraction because he is from the previous regime. And you're drawn in by his open-mindedness, by his pushing. He pushes her to accept her for who she is. Now, granted, he's talking about her demonic self, but every time he pushes her, she's more and more aware of her humanity, and she's more and more aware of who she is as a person. And these are things she doesn't want to lose. So even though he's pushing her to love her demonic side, right, she is learning to love herself and her humanity, and I think that that's great. He has a lot of flaws, and you as a reader, you kind of want him to redeem himself, but it's not going to happen. Miyoko has to stop him. She does. He is a dangerous, bad dude. But the way that chemistry is set up really does pull you in as a reader, and I think that that's what makes the story really, really, really good. There's also Geki. So he's a magpie spirit. Oh my goodness, I love him so much. He is her friend. He is there for her every step of the way. Now, initially, he's only there for her. He begins the journey with her because he's like, well, you saved my life, so I gotta repay the favor. It's the cosmic laws or whatever, right? He repays the favor early on. He doesn't tell her. He stays by her side. He becomes her friend, her confidant. He is there to help her not lose her humanity, and their friendship is so wholesome. There is, some room left open in the end, like, could they form a romantic attraction? It's 100% possible that a romance could form between them. But as Chee is writing the story, you understand that Miyako needs no man. That's the point. She does not need a man. She needs a friend. And she gets a friend. She actually gets many friends. And I think that that's what's great about her. She gets many friends. She gets the respect of her people. She helps the prince, whose body has been taken over by the demon. She helps him kind of revolutionize the country, becoming more open-minded. And I think that that is really what's wonderful for the storytelling. It really does speak volumes that the characterization is so good. Like, Geki's amazing, Miyoko's amazing, and I love all the small characters that they meet on their journey. They are all so well done. The characterization is so amazing. Like, it's hands down so good. I love it. Geki just steals the show. Geki really does steal the show. He's a really, really good character. And I'm sure you're gonna love him as much as I loved him. So I have to say, there was one thing I did not like about this story, and it has nothing to do with the actual storytelling. It has to do with kind of the formatting. Footnotes. I am not a fan of footnotes in fiction. The reason being is when I'm reading and then I'm like, oh, footnote, I'm drawn to kind of look up what is this footnote, right? And I feel like when I go from here to looking to the bottom of the page, it is distracting for me as a reader. I don't think it's necessary, especially because I think Chee's writing in this case is strong enough. There's a lot of context clues, so you can kind of figure out what the word or phrase is from Japanese to English without having to go to the footnotes. Now, I think a glossary at the end of the book would serve the same purpose, so I don't think the footnotes themselves are actually necessary. That's really the only thing, and it has absolutely nothing to do with storytelling. It just has to do with how they decided to stylize and format it, doing footnotes versus a glossary. Wasn't a fan. Personally, again, I find footnotes to be distracting, and some people like them, some people don't. I'm one of the ones that don't. But overall, despite that, I do have to give this book 5 out of 5 stars. My first 5-star review of the year. Wow! It's a really good book. Absolutely loved it. Please remember to purchase the book from your local bookseller or online book retailer. If money is tight, which I get it, check out the book from your local library. All I ask is that you purchase the book, if you're going to, from your local bookstore or online retailer versus on Amazon, which sells the book at a cheaper price because that's the agreement they have with the publisher, since they're just keeping the books in a warehouse versus stashing them in stores that do have to pay rent and utilities, all that stuff, and employees. If you're just keeping it in a warehouse, that's less employees that you have to pay to maintain the books or even sell them. And remember, the author usually only gets 10% of the profit. So if you're selling the book from, example, $10 to $5, remember, the publisher still has to take their cut. So if you're buying it at list price, more money goes to the publisher, but that means more money goes to the author as well. Trickle-down effect, So just keep that in mind the next time you decide to purchase off of Amazon. You are undercutting the author. In any case, I hope you all will continue to support me here by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee. And hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy reading, everyone.